Welcome back to episode 49 of the FullRange Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Johnson. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully some new people listening. That would be fantastic. Hopefully everybody can hear me loud and clear. We are presented by the Old Walls House Podcast with Jordan Wallenberg. If you're looking for another podcast, Jordan Wallenberg on the Old Walls House Podcast does a great job. Talks about a lot of sports, golf, baseball, all sorts of different things, has guests on, does a whole bunch. Check them out, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you're checking us out on YouTube and Spotify, here on the FullRange Podcast, give us a like, subscribe, all those good things. That would be wonderful. It'd help us out a lot. Maybe get a few eyes. I did notice on our Instagram page at the FullRange Pod, you know, as a, let's say, creator, I don't know if I really consider myself that, but I guess I am. It tells you, breaks down who's viewing your reels or profile and everything like that. And it said like 60 or 70% of the people viewing those aren't followers. So give us a follow on Instagram as well at the FullRange Pod, just pod. Today's episode 49, we got a full range topics to cover today. I wanted to start this week a little hot and heavy. Pause. So last night, a couple friends of mine, I have a small group chat, and they sent me a message about a coach in a state. I'm not going to say names or anything like that, and kind of walk the line a little bit with this. But basically what happened is, you know, this coach has won, as far as I know, a lot in this program. He has district championships, playoff runs in states, state title, all these different things. And he stepped down in the middle of a season to basically because it breaks it down of like just parent complaints. And every single year, whether it's football, soccer, basketball, baseball, swimming, golf, tennis, cross country, track and field, everywhere, it seems to be a reoccurring thing that these really, really successful coaches and not successful coaches, and there's a little bit of that plays a factor, are stepping down or stepping away from coaching, even with great success, because of lack of support or just flat out buffoonery, basically, from either players, parents, or anything. And this is not an opening segment to bash parents or anything, but it does fire me up. And there's a teacher shortage. There's a coaching shortage. So I want to open the episode 49 this week with just like almost like a PSA. If you are a parent of an athlete, your athlete, their successes are not yours. Their failures are not yours. And it's very hard as a parent to separate that. Your job is to try to be a support for that program and your kid, and then those kids. And I would honestly say in that order. And in a few minutes, I'm going to talk to more of like players, but I think this is a real life thing that anybody can take things away in our mental health minute, which we'll talk about in just a sec. But we sometimes just put so many eggs in our kids' baskets because we're being selfish for them. We think their success means that we're successful as a parent. And I really don't understand, especially when these coaches are successful. Now, I'm not saying that every single time, because there has been cases where maybe the coach is demonstrative and abusive in some sort of way and all these different things, and you don't always get the story. But a lot of times, like being in coaching, you hear things about other coaches and how much respect other coaches have for them, and coaches that know them personally and all these different things, and to have a coach who's been successful, not so successful, or just wants to be there for kids and just help them develop into young men and young women and run them out of town and stress them out already more than they already stressed is unbelievably cruel to me. It's unbelievably cruel. It doesn't make any sense. I think it makes people, in my eyes, shitty people. And if I'm being honest with you, I really do think I have trouble as a father watching my little girls do things athletically. And I'm very open with Marley and Emily that I hate losing more than I love winning. And I want them to be successful. But my job is to never criticize a coach. As long as I'm not the coach. If I'm their coach, then I can criticize myself if they're not being successful. That's my honest opinion on it. If I'm not their coach in that sport, and I don't care if I know everything, if I've been a professional athlete, college athlete, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. I just need to support the program, my kid, and the other kids on that team. That can be through cheering for them every game, helping out with fundraisers, supporting the coach, having the players and coaches back in a game. All these different things that I can do other than run my mouth about the coach, think my kid needs to get more playing time. I'm not the judge. I was not hired for that position. Do I think my kid is great at everything? Yeah, selfishly, yes. You want them to be successful. Like, you think they're probably better than they actually are. That's not my job to put that out in the field or the court or whatever it might be. It's not my job. My job is to be there for my kids, for those players, but most importantly, for the program. So if you're a parent with young athletes, quit bitching about the coaching. What can you do better to have your child be more successful, not just now, but down the road? Because it's ungodly frustrating seeing these really successful coaches basically step away and say, I just can't handle the stress of parent involvement in all these different things. It breaks my heart for them, and it also breaks my heart for the kids, because there's probably a lot of kids on those teams that really respect and love their coach, and they have to watch somebody just get broken down by somebody that they're living in a house with, most likely, which is really, really sad when you think about it. So if you're a coach out there, other coaches have your back. Reach out to them. Hopefully you have really good group of parents. I've been very, very blessed 99.9% of the time to have really great parents, support, and things like that. Maybe I just jinx myself a little bit, but I really do believe that I've been lucky. But it's a grind. It's stressful. Be easy on your coaches. Youth level, high school, college, pros, whatever it might be. Like, no one goes into coaching and says, you know what, I'm just going to mess up every kid's life and I want to hurt kids' feelings. I don't think that happens 99.9% of the time. Which leads me to our mental health minute a little bit. All right. Now, I will say this week's mental health minute is a little bit more probably on the side of geared towards athletes and how they can be more successful. But I think in sports, in athletics, you can tie in a lot of things to your personal life. I think you learn a lot about yourself going to the weight room and being physically active. But I also think being on a team or in a sport teaches you a lot about life and how you react to things and such. And today I wanted to talk about selfishness. And the first thing I wanted to bring up with the selfishness thing is, and I'm not calling anyone selfish, but I will say every team that's successful has selfless players, not selfish, selfless players. Every team that I've been on or I've coached or I've watched, all of the team buys in to it not being about them. And I think we can tie that into our personal lives as well. So I wanted to speak to athletes, but also to everybody listening, what I believe is really the cancer of any team, individual sport, or even in your personal life, and that's selfishness. I think most of the time, at least on the athletic side, most athletes struggle with being selfish because of parent pressure, internal pressure, I think plays a little bit of part too, wanting to be successful, scoring a lot, winning, looks cool. They put pressure on themselves. But I think most of the time, our selfishness comes from wanting to look cool for others. So the opinion of others, our parents, our loved ones, our girlfriend, boyfriends, whatever it might be. I think selfishness starts, let me break it down. I think selfishness looks like bad-mouthing referees, bad-mouthing coaches, laziness, demonstrative towards your teammates, overly celebrating something with like flashiness and things like that. Those moments where you're trying to make it about yourself. And you might say, oh, Matt, these are just young kids. That give them a break. If they celebrate making a 3 or they celebrate a touchdown with a dance or whatever, well, I think that really tells us like kind of what their mindset is in that moment. Is it's not anyone else's success or failure, but mine. And that to me is selfish. And like I said before, I think it's a cancer of a winning culture, winning team. I also want to put a little bit of emphasis on the laziness part of it. And I think both those words, selfishness and laziness, have more of a negative connotation to it than I want it to be. But those are the words that we use in our society. And maybe there's a better word that's out of my vocabulary that I want to use. But I think this is the part where we can connect this to even as adults and parents and stuff. And I think laziness looks like not showing up on time, not going to individual workouts or team workouts. I also think it's laziness and selfishness go hand in hand with not studying the game or thing that you're trying to be successful in. Not having a plan of success, not preparing for what success is going to look like, I think is laziness and selfishness. What I think laziness also looks like is just showing up to only the individual workouts, the team workouts, and not doing anything extra on the side. Your coaches and things like that have their lives and their busyness, and they're trying to be successful in things. What am I doing on the days off? What am I doing when people aren't watching? I also think laziness and selfishness looks like not doing things in your community, not going to school functions or company functions or anything like that. So those things all tie into the individual on a team that I would consider selfish or lazy. So I wrote down a couple things that I want to read. So last week, during one of our team gyms, and I'll tie it into my coaching experience, I said to the players before we got started, I said, there's the old quote of don't be upset about the results you didn't get from the work you didn't put in. And I like to adjust that one a little bit. That one's not my quote, but I like to just change a couple words in there. And I changed it to don't complain about the results you didn't get because of the effort and work you didn't do. And I really think that's the key one, the effort and the work, because I think those are two different things to me. Like the work is important, but how much effort you're putting into that work, I think also plays a huge factor in being successful. So finding time daily to work at what you want to be successful in, showing up, maximizing your effort, even if it's 5 minutes per day, or especially on the days that you don't feel like it. Not taking reps off, hitting the gym, having a plan, sacrificing other things, maybe other fun things, focusing, putting time in to learn the craft, studying those things. And I think if you're not doing those things, again, I do think it's lazy and selfish. I'm not calling anybody individually lazy and selfish. And like I said before, it's kind of got like a weird vibe to it. But I think that the laziness and lack of effort or selfishness just can only produce at a maximum level an average person. Average. And I've said before on this podcast, I think average is okay. If you're comfortable, that's fine. But I think tying it back to the whole parent coaching thing, I think if we focus more on not being selfish and things being bigger than you as the individual when you're on a team, I think team and individual success would rise if you really, really commit and go all in on that idea. When it's going good, it's easy. It's easy not to be lazy. It's easy not to miss that workout. What happens when things get hard? That's when you find out if someone's lazy or selfish. What happens when you're down 20? What happens when you look up at the score, you're down 3 possessions in a football game and you got a quarter and a half left? That's when you find out a lot about yourself. What happens when you pull a muscle and you can't go to the gym for a week and a half? What happens after that? How do you respond to those things? I think is the biggest factor in telling me if someone is lazy or selfish when it comes to athletics, team sports, and even your careers and in personal successes. So the last thing I'll leave you with is something when I was writing notes for this week. Selfless people take those failures and ultimately become successful because they get rid of the laziness. And it's not in their thought process or vocabulary anymore. They learn quickly how selfishness brings temporary joy to ultimate failure. So when you ultimately fail, if you get rid of that laziness and selfishness, it'll turn into success. So selfishness brings temporary joy because it feels good, it's comfortable, it's lazy, everything like that, but it ultimately leads to failure. All right. Episode 49 of the Full Range Podcast is brought to you by Turning Signals. You have one, fucking use it. All right. On to the next thing here, folks. The 31 spooky movies of October is off to kind of a slow start, but I promise, follow us on Instagram. I'm reviewing 31 movies that I've either seen before or I'm watching new. We've watched Scream, Hush, and Halloween. The Halloween one should be up now. Today, Thursday, that one should be up. We got a whole bunch more. So movie 3 was last night, movie 4 coming up, and so on. Hopefully this weekend I'll have some time to really hit some of those, which would be nice. If you haven't seen Hush, I know last week when we had Ethan Sexton on, we talked a little bit about that movie. Fantastic movie. One problem, you do have to rent it on Amazon Prime to watch it, but I think it's worth the $4 or $5 that you'll pay. Easy, hour and 20-minute movie. Fantastic. Keeps you on the edge of your seat 90% of the time. I rated it as 7.9 out of 10. It was going to be in the 8s. The last half hour was a couple little parts are kind of like, acting might be a little off, but it's a kind of a slasher movie. Fantastic. If you're into spooky movies, check it out. And make sure you follow us on Instagram to see some of that stuff. The other thing that happened before we get into some NFL talk towards the end here, there was an album that dropped on October 3rd, last Friday, the day after episode 48 dropped last week. Big deal. Really big deal. This artist is fantastic. They got some bangers. They're successful. They're even on the rise, you might say. Still, Old 60 dropped an album last Friday. Oh wait, so did Taylor Swift too. If you don't know who Old 60 is, that was just my attempt at a really, really bad joke. Kind of realizing now how bad that was. Old 60 is a country kind of band. If you haven't heard them, they're really, really good. Give them some love. They did drop an album on Friday. It is very depressing. So just be ready. It feels like you should listen to that album in a dark room with a candle and a beer in your hand kind of music. But it's kind of grungy. There's a couple like up-tempo songs that are good and kind of rock and roll-ish country. But really, really good. A few of the songs even kind of reminded me of like the 90s grunge kind of stuff. Really, really good. There's a song on there called Watching Scary Movies in the Dark. Or no, Watching Scary Movies with the Sound Off. Be careful. Be careful. That one is super, super sad. But here's what I wanted to do this week. I'm gonna give Taylor Swift some love. We're gonna talk about Taylor Swift's album. It dropped on Friday. Listen to it. Actually, I was on my way to Ocean City, still driving at midnight. So pop that thing on and listen to all 12, 13 songs that she has on there. And now listen, before I get any hate from my buddies or any guys out there, all right, let's not pretend we don't listen to girls singing music. And the only reason that you got problems with Taylor Swift is because of probably the NFL. Get over yourself, man. Get over yourself. Back in 2007, you were probably jamming out to Love Story and all that shit behind closed doors. And you were probably dedicating it on your AOL profile to some chick in high school. So just relax, all right? I like all music, any and all music. If it sounds good, it's got good lyrics, good meaning, I'll listen to it. So I gave it a listen. I'm going to go down each song and in a guy's perspective. All right. So the Swifties out there, if you're listening, don't come after me. All right. Number 1, Fate of Ophelia. Good song. Upbeat. As soon as it came on, I said, this is already better than the last album. So I'm sorry if you like the Poet Society one or whatever that one, the last one was. Already better. It's a good song. It's probably my second favorite song on the album, actually. I've listened to it a couple times after. Number 2 is called Elizabeth Taylor. That one I've noticed on like the top 50 charts. I don't get it. People, I guess, really like that song. It's not bad. It's fine. You'll kind of see a theme there. I just don't. There's times where I don't want to put in the work to understand what Taylor Swift is trying to tell me because I don't really care that much about her music. I don't mind it, but I just don't care enough to be like, I wonder what this song's about. And like looking up lyrics. Sorry if you do it. Sorry, ladies, if you're out there listening. I'm really sorry. Number 3, Opalite. What the hell is Opalite? First of all, found out it's some sort of like glass or something. It's my favorite song on the album. I don't know what it means. I don't really care what it's about. This is one of those, as a dude, you listen to it maybe 2 or 3 times just by accident. And like you're around a group of people and they're like, you know the song, and you're not really like singing or anything, but you might be kind of vibing to it. And you're like, no, this song sucks, dude. And then you kind of turn around and you're like, yeah, it's fucking awesome. Like, this is a good song. And you might know like some of the words. That's one of these songs, like, you know, some of even my friends like Sabrina Carpenter or Dua Lipa or something, like, you know, you wouldn't think us guys know it or like it. We're probably jamming to it at the gym. I actually really enjoy that song. It's my favorite song on the album. Number 4, I think, was Father Figure. I don't know what this means. No clue here. It feels like a fucked up song. I don't know. I don't really enjoy this one. That's a skippable one, guys, for me. Number 5, Eldest Daughter. Not bad at all. That one was okay. Feels like I'm missing something there too, but a solid, slower song. from Swift. Number 6, Ruin the Friendship. I wrote down here, classic high school nostalgia from T Swift. Basically wishes she made out with her friend in high school while his girlfriend was away because the shit don't matter anyways, and someday they're all going to die. So I don't know. If you want to listen to that one, it's skippable for me. Number 7 is my third favorite song on the album, Actually Romantic. Actually kind of like this one. Basically a fuck you song to the people who spend a bunch of time talking shit about her, which I think that's awesome. And she does it in kind of a playful way. Great song. 8 and 9, Wish List. Forgettable for me. I kind of skipped that one. Wood I'm pretty sure is just about Travis Kelce's Johnson. And apparently it's a redwood tree. It's what made her open her thighs. Number 10 is Canceled. Least favorite song. It's just meh. Number 11, Honey. Someone called Taylor Swift Honey in a sarcastic way, and she isn't happy, I think. I don't know. And then 12, Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter. Decent song. Could be what she wishes someone told her when she was a young artist about what being crazy popular brings. I don't really know. But from a guy's perspective, I thought it was better than her previous album. So stick to a couple of the poppy songs, guys, if you're going to listen to it. I would suggest Actually Romantic, Opalite, and Fate of Ophelia. I don't mind listening to those ones. Those ones aren't bad. All right. It got me thinking a little bit about like other albums, and I brought up the old 61 too. And I was thinking, I'm like, man, maybe that'd be a good like rank 'em segment of like us like drafting our favorite music albums of all time. And I was like, that's kind of hard, or just maybe talking, bringing in a guest and talking about albums and stuff. I just wanted to give you 3 that I absolutely love. Number 1 for a long, long time was Eric Church, Chief, his album. Fantastic. Start to finish, all of those songs on that album are listenable. Like, they're really, really good. That album for a long time was my favorite album of all time. I am a country music fan, but I can listen to anything. I listen to, techno and 90s and classic rock and classic country, folk, rap, hip hop, R&B, pop. I can listen to anything. That album's fantastic. Another one that was actually recent, if you have not heard of Sam Barber, go check out Music for the Soul. His album Music for the Soul came out like a month or 2 ago. It only has like 8 or 10 songs on it. It's fantastic. And he's also another sad songwriter. Really, really good. My favorite album of all time is Noah Kahan, Stick Season. It's fantastic. So those were kind of the 3 that I was like, I got to bring those up, talking about music. All right, so let's close the show with the NFL. Cowboys won. That's fun, everybody. That's fun. That makes me happy. Went 9-5 last week. A great week, a bounce back week after going 3-9 or so the week before. So basically what I'm going to tell you is fade all these picks. Don't pick these this week. But the Cowboys win was a lot of fun. They looked really good. Again, I'm not going to glaze over Dak Prescott. You guys know how I feel if you're a listener. If not, go back, the last few episodes and you'll understand. So tonight, Thursday Night Football, we got Philadelphia going to New York. Chilly night in New York. Giants are getting 7.5 points. The over-under is 40.5. Ooh, my heart wants to take the Giants here. Not that I love the Giants. I fucking hate the Giants. I'm going to take Philly minus the 7.5. I know that's a lot, and I know 7 is a magic number. I just think Philly with a rookie quarterback in his 3rd start. I know it's at home. I think it's going to be close early. I look for this game to be a 24-13 game. I kind of low scoring. The under is set at 40. I don't mind that either. I think Saquon Barkley, if he's healthy and playing, could have a really, really good game. Jalen Hurts touchdown, Saquon Barkley touchdown tonight is probably a good bet for Thursday Night Football. We got another London game this Sunday, Broncos at Jets. Broncos are 7-point favorites, over under 43.5. I'm taking the Broncos. Another big spread, -7. The Jets have to prove to me, besides the Steelers game in week 1, that they can compete against a good defense. I know they scored some late touchdowns against the Cowboys, but the Cowboys defense is not good, and the Jets really couldn't do much against them. I think the Broncos could get some turnovers here and win by 2 touchdowns or more. So, if you're listening to this, Giants and Jets probably. But Philly and Broncos, that's where I'm going with. So the 1 p.m. slate, we got Cowboys at Panthers. Cowboys are a 3.5-point favorite at Carolina. This could be a little Rico Dowdle game, the former running back for the Cowboys. I do like an anytime touchdown from him. Again, I like the over of 49.5. I just, until the Cowboys go under in a game, I'm not going to think twice. It's 49. They're going to score. It's going to be 30-27, probably, one way or the other. So I just think there's not enough defense there. I will say I am a little worried about this game. I think this could be a little bit of a trap. I think the Panthers at home do play pretty well. And as I said last week, when I took the Panthers plus the points, they ended up winning outright. Like, Panthers season is kind of up and down. So hopefully maybe this is a down week as a Cowboys fan. Browns at Steelers. The big news with the Browns is they traded Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals, so they're riding Dylan Gabriel probably the rest of the way. I am on the Steelers at home, -5.5. I don't like that one. I think the Browns defense is going to play really, really well. I do like the Browns in the first half plus the points. So that's probably like 3.5 points at halftime. I do like that. Seahawks at Jags. Oh. I'm going with the underdog here. We're going Seahawks +1.5. Jags just coming off a big win, crazy kind of undeserved win at Kansas City. They come back home. Seahawks need a win. They got to get a win. If the Seahawks can just get a couple turnovers, I think they can put up some points against the Jags this weekend. And the line's weird. Why are the Jags, after coming off a win at Kansas City, only a 1.5-point favorite? That's weird to me. I kind of like the over 46.5 too. Chargers at Dolphins. I've seen a lot of love for the Dolphins here. This is a fishy line. I'm taking the Chargers -4.5 though. Let's just pick the better team. Let's pick the better team here. Rams at Ravens. Ravens were my Super Bowl pick, guys. And if I make it to the old Walls House podcast midseason or before the playoffs, that could be one of my biggest takes that I had this year. And it could go out the window. Now, I don't know if Lamar Jackson's going to be healthy. That could change things. So I'm not really betting this game. The only ones that I'm on are the Cowboys over, Browns first half, and probably Philly and the Broncos. The other games I'm probably staying away from. But I got to take the Rams here. Cooper Rush, if he's quarterback in the Ravens, I just don't think the Ravens defense can keep him close with the Rams, and I think the Rams defense is pretty darn good. So, Patriots at Saints. I'm going Saints at home +3.5. I actually really kind of like that one. Desmond Ritter's been playing all right, under the radar, okay quarterbacking. I like that one there. Cardinals at Colts. Colts -6.5. I'm going to keep doing it. I was wrong the first couple weeks, and then I jumped on the bandwagon, and they've made me money. I'm going to take them again. 4 p.m. slot, Tennessee Titans at Raiders. Man, this feels like everybody should be on the Titans, right? Titans getting a win. This has to be a Raiders win. I'm going Raiders -5.5. God, that sucks. That's really bad. Bengals at Packers, the biggest spread of the weekend. Spread. Talked about Taylor Swift earlier. Joe Flacco, quarterbacking for the Bengals. Screw it. It's like throwing a Hail Mary. Fuck it. He's down there somewhere. Packers minus 14.5. Blow them out, Packers. Do it. I know our good friend Bill and Wally will not like that pick. 49ers at Bucks. I'm taking Bucks. I think it's at 2.5 now. Bucks minus 3 at home. I think the 49ers defense is a little banged up right now. I think the Bucks, even if it's a come from behind win, they've had some fourth quarter runs late against Philly to get back into that game and almost pull that one out. 49ers first half, though, could be a good little bet there. Sunday Night Football, Lions at Chiefs. This is weird to me, too. Emotional loss from the Chiefs against the Jags at home. You know what? Let's go Sunday night. Lions upset. Money line. Monday Night Football, we got another doubleheader, which NFL, thank you. Thank you for these Monday Night Football doubleheaders. Bills at Falcons. Falcons plus 4.5. I hate it, but Bills. Bills minus 4.5. Bears at Commanders. Commanders minus 4.5. I hope that Jaden Daniels is back. I don't believe in the Bears at all. At all. So, no teaser this week. I haven't had time, folks. But that's episode 49 of the Full Range Podcast. Everybody have a good weekend. I am off this weekend to our good friend Jordan Clark's wedding on Sunday. I'm very, very excited. I'm excited to see everybody. I'm excited for them. Weddings are always fun. It's a blast. We'll have a really good weekend. Getting my tux tonight and all that good stuff. So I'm on my way. It's going to be great. Also, shout out Jordan Clark for getting a couple W's down there in Penn Manor after a tough start. We had some really, really great teams. Shout out to him. Shout out to you guys for giving us a follow on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. You can check out my personal page on TikTok, mjohnson7633. I post the reels and things like that. Please like and share all these spooky movies. If you're interested in watching them, give me some feedback. That would be fantastic as well. And folks, we are on episode 50 next week. 50 already. We're closing in on a year. Really, really excited. Thank you for everybody. I hope everybody enjoyed this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.